And they said, where did this man get all of this? I think that we know. Greetings, everyone. This past weekend, thankfully to many of you, we had a very successful telethon here at Catholic TV. The calls were coming in all day long, all night long, and all the next day, and it was truly a success. On Saturday evening, after celebrating the 4 o'clock Mass, I came to the studios to do my little part for the telethon. It was just going to be an interview to talk about my show and to ask people to donate money. That's what you do at telethons. And so I arrived at about 5:15, got ready, and I think I went on at about 10 to 6. And the way these things usually work during the telethon is, if indeed you host one of the shows, as you're being interviewed, as I was being interviewed by Jay, Father Reed hadn't arrived yet. He had a 4 o'clock Mass somewhere else, and so he was on his way. During the interview, what they do is they show a little clip of your show, and you have an opportunity to talk about what your show is about, what you try to do, what the goals might be. And so as I was being interviewed, for a moment on the screen, they put up a clip from the show. And in this particular clip, there I was standing in a room somewhere. Now, I couldn't hear any of the dialogue because I was being interviewed. All I saw was the clip on the screen. I was standing there, obviously thinking about something. And all of a sudden, over my right shoulder appeared my face. So now there were two of me on the screen. And I could tell that one of me was giving the other one some advice, because I looked up at the head and, I'm kind of agreeing. And all of a sudden, there appeared over my left shoulder another face, mine again, getting my attention, telling me something else. And I stood there looking at the two heads, trying to decide which one I was going to listen to. I realized then what that particular show was about, even though I had taped it a year before. And in a very real way, what that show was about is what we see happening in the gospel this day. The show was about the fact that we human beings very often in life hear two voices, don't we? One voice always calling us to goodness. One voice always calling us ever closer to our God. And the other voice tempting us away from Him. Tempting us away through fear, doubt, anger, prejudice, sadness, disbelief, non-trust, so to speak. Two voices. That's what's happening in the gospel. Jesus has found relative success. He goes back home, and the people at home have heard some of the wondrous things he has done in other cities. They know that he has worked miracles. He has changed people's lives already. They heard all of the stories coming out of Capernaum, and he goes back home, and he speaks to them. And they listen. But after a while, through his preaching, he begins perhaps to challenge them. And they start hearing things that they don't want to hear. They're being invited to do things maybe that they don't want to do. And we human beings, we can be a funny lot. We love to hear what we want to hear. Very often we don't like to be challenged. We don't like to hear what we don't want to hear. And they started to turn against him. Who's he? Who is he to tell us what to do? Isn't he the carpenter? Isn't he the son of Mary? Who is it? Where does he get all this? Who does he think he is? My friends, they were hearing two voices. One voice calling them ever closer to God through his Son, Jesus Christ. And the other voice, well, what were they really doing but deifying their own opinion? Who is Jesus to tell me? He was the 12-year-old that worked outside the synagogue when who's he to tell me? They were deifying their own opinion. They thought what they thought, that their opinion was more important than his. My friends, in so many ways, you and I are in the same boat. They were good people. We are good people, ever listening to our God. But there are those times in all of our lives that we, perhaps through another voice, get called away to self-interest, called away through other things, fears, moments of darkness. We're reminded this day that our life truly is a faith journey. We're reminded this day that each and every day is an opportunity for us, as we are now, to stop and to take a moment to listen. What is he seeking to share with us this day? Where will he be directing me and you this day? And very often in the midst of our prayer, even at times, there can be another voice. Unanswered prayers might lead us to think he doesn't listen or care. Moments of darkness or sadness might lead us to believe that we are standing in the midst of the chaos of our lives alone. But my friends, the gospel this day assures us that that is never the case. Our God is always there. Our God always listens. Our God is always present to us so that we can open our hearts to him and give to him our fears and our needs. This day, we're reminded that when we use his grace, we gain power over any other voice. When we use his grace, we can better use his to draw closer to him each and every day.